Good afternoon, everyone, or good evening. I am Mayor Yamekia Robinson, and I welcome everybody here tonight. Thank you for coming out. We just wanted to come together and give you some updates from local, county, state representatives, and also Sheriff TJ Joye, and also Lake City Chief Patrick Miles. We're going to try not to keep you long tonight. We're going to go through each person just for a few minutes giving updates, and then we're going to go do Q&A at the end. We don't want to do Q&A during the time of each person. That's going to take too long, so we're just going to go through everyone with their updates, and then go ahead and write your questions down and get ready to the end. Okay? That's fair? Good evening once again. My name is Yamekia Robinson, and I'll be bringing you a few updates from the city of Lake City as your mayor. Lake City community growth. I would like for us to focus on achievements, our challenges, and future strategies. And there are three topics that I would like to just highlight on, and that's our economy, and to increase our economic development by attracting new businesses and providing job opportunities for our community. Also, infrastructure, investing in infrastructure to support sustainable growth and improve quality of life for all residents. And safety is big as well. Enhancing community safety through improved patrols and innovative technology for quicker response times to ensure citizen peace. And three main things I also like to highlight on that I would like for us as a community to continue to do and do more of is have healthy partnerships. The city of Lake City have really been striving to have those healthy partnerships with our school district, with private and public entities, organizations such as the Dollarmore Foundation. We think that healthy partnerships is what drives our city's growth. And we want to ask everyone to let's try to work more better together, because healthy partnerships is what our city needs to continue to grow. Also, community engagement. We ask all of our community members, church leaders, community leaders, organization leaders. I see we have housing authority in here. We have school district. Community engagement is key. We need to keep our community engaged with all the things that's going on in our city, because that's how you're going to be informed and be inspired to keep our city moving forward. And our city staff is doing meeting every day and doing strategic planning to make sure that we have all the necessities and necessary things to keep Lake City moving forward. Our staff members meet every week to see where we're at, where we need to be going, the different projects that we have going on, just to keep updating, keep you all abreast of what the city of Lake City is doing. So we need those healthy partnerships. We need those that community engagement, and we need to continue strategically planning. A few highlights and positive impacts this year in Lake City. This year, we've seen significant progress in infrastructure, community programs, and sustainability efforts that contribute to making our city a better place to live. Once again, infrastructure. We are focusing on improving infrastructure to enhance the quality of life for all residents. And in that category, as you all know, one of the big grants that we received this year was a $13.5 million EDA grant. And that was presented by our U.S. Deputy Secretary Don Graves and Congressman Clyburn. And that is for the Ackline Stormwater Drainage Project. And that project entails different streets. It's titled Ackline Street, but it encompasses different streets such as South Ackline, North Ackline, Retha Drive, Thomas Street, Moore Street, Cash Avenue, Calhoun Street, and a number of more streets. This is a big project, and of course, it's going to take some time to start. I know we received the money. We don't have the funding yet, but we received a grant award. But just definitely give us some time and be patient, but you will definitely see that project moving hopefully in the upcoming year or two. We also received a $176,000 Safe Streets for All grant, and this is to improve our streets. I know our streets is very high on the list of things that people want to see. And this grant, the first part for the $176,000 is for our comprehensive safety plan. So we have to get a plan together, and then we can move forth and get more funding for that to implement that plan. We also have different other projects going on, such as the Highway 52 Infrastructure Stormwater Project that some of you probably have already seen started on Franklin Street. That will alleviate flooding around Thomas Street, Delano Street, and Franklin Street, streets behind the Ronnie McNair School. A lot of flooding happens in that area. And this project is from the South Carolina Office of Resilience. And there is no funding from the city of Lake City in that project. Also have the South Carolina DOT Highway 52 Corridor Road Safety Project that will be going on as well. I remember that just a year ago, myself and a few other staff members, we walked through the entire corridor to do an assessment to see how we can improve that corridor to be more safer for the pedestrians and the motorists. So that project is going on as well. Now to move to public safety. There's a whole lot more that I can explain, but since we only a limited time, and I want to give everybody else an opportunity, so I'm just going to limit, but you can always call me at my office or come in, and I would love to sit down with each and every one of you to explain. The public safety, our commitment to enhancing safety measures will ensure a secure environment for everyone. This lovely picture that I have posted up here is a number of our police officers, myself, Councilwoman Cooper, and we also have community members in here as well. This was right in front of the Baker Suites on one Saturday morning where we had coffee with a cop. And we are really want our community and our law enforcement to engage more with each other so we can have a better relationship with each other, because our community and law enforcement really need to have that good relationship so we can have safe communities. Economic growth. We aim to boost the local economic by supporting small businesses and attracting new investments. As you all know, we had a small business expo for minority and veteran and women's businesses, small businesses, and that was facilitated by the administrative Isabel Guzman, who came here and graced us with her presence. Unfortunately, that day, Congressman Clyburn could not make it, but it was right here in this room in this whole facility. Thank you again, Ms. Jeanette, for allowing us to have it here. They reached out to us and they wanted to have this expo to be able to inform our small businesses and educate them and bring not just Lake City small businesses, but small businesses from surrounding areas. And we had a round table of several businesses to get more information and get more education on how they can move their businesses forward. So as I wrap up, I would like to say mark your calendar, because progress only happens when everyone is involved, engaged, and committed. And the State of the City address, who will be provided by myself, Mayor Yamekia Robinson, will be on January 23rd, 2025 at our new community center, LC 278 on 278 Cole Road, Lake City, 6 p.m. And here is my information. If you do not have it, please jot it down. You can get me by email or phone number. And that's all I have for the evening right now. Thank you.
Good evening. It's good to see all y'all here today. It's great anytime that we can actually be out in the community and speak to a group of people. All the time we get phone calls all the time. People come to our meetings. Oftentimes we're so busy, so I think it's a great opportunity we've got here tonight just to kind of give everyone kind of an update of what's going on in our districts and what we're doing. Do want to thank our city council members for being here, Councilmember Fleming Crosby and Councilmember Cooper. And I know we've welcomed y'all tonight. I know we've got Councilmember-elect Askins in the back. We'll let you get up and give a presentation in a few minutes as well for your goals. And we're always excited to have Dr. Hickson here with us, our school superintendent of District 3. She does so much for our youth, and we really appreciate her coming here tonight to share what she can, along with others. Got a lot of community leaders. I know we got Mr. Fountain from the Housing Authority, got Reverend Singletary, who just knows everybody. Appreciate all y'all coming out here tonight for us. I do have a lot of things that, like the mayor said, I could probably stay here all night and just talk about what we got going on in the county, because it truly is a busy time in Florence County right now. There are a lot of things. I met with a group of seniors last month just to talk about our recreation projects, and it took me almost 2 hours to talk about them. There's so much going on. A lot of you are familiar with the lake project we got. We expanded the lake last year, and we had that big pile of dirt once again. Everybody kind of got a little upset about it. We had to remind them that we had to do the same thing last time. We have to let the water drain out of the dirt before we can do something with it. So that project is finally starting to come to a close. We'll start seeing some steel erect on the building in the next 2 weeks. We are finalizing the tennis and pickleball courts, which were funded solely by Representative Kirby. Thank you so much for getting that for us. He's going to host the first pickleball tournament and teach us all what it's about. Hopefully that'll be coming up very soon as well. So by springtime, you should see some very impressive things going on over there. And we hope to have the building over there complete around May time frame as things go now. We are also about to begin an expansion of the senior center here in Lake City to give our wonderful seniors more room to meet. If you've ever been to one of their events, you'll know that anytime at a holiday event like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Mother's Day, you can barely walk in there. And so it's been a long, long project to get that funded and done, but they hope to start that after the first of the year, expansion to the meeting room facility and also some upgrades through the rest of the facility, just to kind of clean it up. That's been a heavily used facility. We want to keep it that way. Independence Farms is something that y'all may or may not have heard about, but we acquired 500 acres out in just past the Cameron Town, out in the Leo community here on Lynch's River. And that's going to be a wonderful park for us. It's going to be more of a low-impact park, but we're actually finalizing conceptual plans on it now. But some of the things that we're hoping to do are to have lots of walking trails, a bike pump track, which I've had to learn what that is, a lot of things with some camping sites, access to the river, and probably the biggest thing, which I think is going to be a huge economic development thing for our area, is I think it's the Peach Belt Conference, college conference, has agreed that if we will build a college-level track and field facility, they will use it for all their championships. And so we're going to do that. We have multiple school districts throughout our county who don't have a home track for cross-country track. And so we're going to have that there on that site as well. So we're working towards that. We did not have to pay anything for the land, which is very good, but we're going to have to come up with some funds to do the development of it and to get it to where it's a usable space. We've also done a lot of great things at Lynch's River County Park, which is the former state park up near Effingham. I know a lot of people were pretty upset about the splash pad not being open this summer. We've had a lot of problems with it. Turns out that the contractor who initially built it did not build it as it should have been built, which has caused a lot of the problems that we've had. And we end up having to basically just demo the whole site, and we've rebuilt it. And then just as we got almost through with it, the company that was working on it lost their facility in North Carolina during the hurricane. But they were on site last week doing some final installs, and so we absolutely will be very excited to have that back in place next summer when it will be much larger and much more of an amusement park type thing. Lots of things for kids to do there. So that's going to be a great thing for our community as well. Also at that park, we've built 6 miles of equestrian trails. So for those people who like to ride horseback, that we've got 6 miles of continuous walking they can do. That's been completed. And we're also completing an equestrian campground and riding arena. So the idea is we want people to come spend the night in our area, ride their horses, spend money while they're here. Evidently there's a lot of people who travel for that on the weekends and stuff. So we're going to have that out there as well. We're also finalizing a 27-hole disc golf course. And I say all this stuff because I'm having to learn a lot of things I didn't know. You know, when you think about recreation, I've always thought, you know, baseball and football, you know, soccer at best. And our recreation department is really looking to not just focus on those people. You know, Lake City's got esports. We're doing esports now. We're trying to do something that not only affects every child, but every person. Everybody should have something they can do to get out and be more active in nature and do things of that such. So that's some of the things that we're working on in recreation right now. And you'll see a lot of those come to fruition by the end of the year. I'm very excited about it. As we look at public safety, there are a few things that we've had to do to fix it just because they had to be done. Wasn't so much that we wanted to, but we're installing a new radio tower in the Johnsonville area, which is going to help with some issues we're having with radio coverage on that part of the county, especially when our deputies and firemen and EMS people get inside of buildings. So that tower is being erected along with a new EMS station in Johnsonville. Forever, the city of Johnsonville and all the areas surrounding it didn't even have a county EMS unit there. They had a volunteer rescue squad that struggles at times to make calls. So we have integrated that now where we have a paid EMS truck that works along with Johnsonville Rescue. Well, now we're building a station to put them in, and it will actually be on this side of Johnsonville rather than downtown Johnsonville. So thinking of a response model, they will respond more into Johnsonville rather than having to spawn out to come this way if we need them. And so that's being done. We also have approved funding to place an additional, what we're calling a hot response truck or peak time truck here in Effingham. So we'll have an ambulance that's going to work a 12-hour shift just during the busy parts of the day. So now our paramedics and EMTs currently work a 24-hour shift, and then they have 72 hours off. Well, these guys will work just like our dispatchers and our law enforcement do, where they'll work a 12-hour shift, and they'll split 2 days on, 2 days off kind of deal over alternating weeks. So one week they'll have 2 days they work, the next week they'll have 2 days they're off. And so they're going to follow that same schedule as those. And it'll be just during those peak hours when we see the most EMS calls. And that will honestly benefit us more than you probably realize. A lot of you probably see ambulances riding around a lot with nobody in them. We spend a vast part of the day relocating ambulances to other parts of the county because we've had to move one ambulance and we're trying to get somebody else close to cover the next call. And so this is going to help a lot with that. Another thing we've had to do is just as technology goes, the radios that all of our first responders use. I'm a firefighter myself and actually realized this morning at a fire that the volume knob broke on my radio. Motorola won't fix that stuff anymore. Not on that brand or that particular model because they've ceased to maintain that. So what we're doing now is we're buying new radios to replace all of those that are no longer being supported. So that's going to be a big input to all of our first responders as well. Another thing that October 4th brought to light, and I'm sure Sheriff Joye can talk about this a little more, was the need for specialized training with our law enforcement officers and specialized vehicles. We have since purchased a second armored vehicle, a Bearcat, for the sheriff for his men and women to use on sensitive situations. And Sheriff, how many times has your vehicle been shot already? 3 times they've already had people shoot at the vehicle. One time the sheriff was in it. So that's opened our eyes, and so we've now procured them a second Bearcat, because realizing in today's time frame, you know, we don't just have one crime going on at the time in this county. As big as we are, as much as we're growing, he's going to be able to stage them strategically and have multiple units available for multiple calls or all to respond to the same. So that's being done as well. Another area that I've pushed for through my committee that I'm chair of on county council, and we're in the process of doing now, is we're conducting an EMS staffing and response study. Because one thing that we're seeing a big problem with now is with our aging population and people really just not understanding how our hospital systems work. They think if I call an ambulance, they'll take me straight into the ER and I won't have to worry about waiting in the waiting room. And we're tying up a lot of EMS units to take people to the hospital because they got a toothache or they've had a fever for 3 or 4 days. Things of that nature, and they carry them to the ER and they roll them out and sit them in the lobby with everybody else and say, you wait your turn. And so we're looking at that to make sure that we're properly addressing these calls. And I've asked them to look for innovative ways. You know, let's not keep doing it the way we've always done it. There are other larger municipalities and counties across the country who are doing things such as community telemedicine, you know, having paramedics who actually go to your home, and maybe even the nurse practitioners who will come just see you at your home rather than you having to go take up that spot in the ambulance or go to a hospital. So we're going to look at all that response model with an open mind to see what we can do to make sure that our units are available when we need them the most. The last area I want to speak on real quick is economic development. I know everybody's always thinking about jobs. What are we doing more for jobs here? You know, obviously the big one right now is the AESC plant. That's the battery plant there in Florence near Wilson High School. By far the largest economic development announcement we've ever had in Florence County. This thing right now, we're looking at about $1.7 billion in investment. That's with a B. That's a lot of zeros behind it. That thing's going to have, I think it's close to 1,500 jobs that we're looking for, all high-paying jobs. And those won't just be people from Florence. It won't just be people from Florence County. They had a job fair for a couple weeks ago, and they got people from all over the place out of state who are looking to come here for these jobs. Right now, in Florence County, I know we have 400 residences either in planning or in construction getting ready for this boom of people that's going to come here for this thing. So we're doing what we can to get that going. We had the Carter Lumber announcement here in Kingsburg. That's a very good job producing company that we had here just in our part of the county. We're very excited to have them here. We got another one that we've not finalized the deals on, but you'll keep hearing more and more about it, is what we're calling Project Clarios. This will be in the Florence area. This is another $1 billion investment. So we're seeing several hundred jobs possibly coming from this one as well. So you're going to see a lot of things change here in Florence County over the next 10 years just because of these two manufacturing facilities. We're doing everything we can to set things up in our area. You know, we've got the Scranton Industrial Park along with the Lake City Commerce Center, which used to be called the Godley Morris Commerce Center. We're actively trying to market those. And we've had several, I like to use an fishing analogy, we've had several nibbles on the one in Scranton. We've had a lot of people come and visit. I've met with several industries myself, and we've actually got one on the hook right now. We hadn't reeled them into the boat yet. Hopefully that's going to happen just after the first of the year. But that's going to be a wonderful thing to have a manufacturing facility, hopefully here in lower Florence County, in very close proximity to Lake City. If this goes in there, Lake City is going to directly benefit from the sewer revenue that comes from the business that goes there. And plus, we think all of our local businesses will as well, because those people are going to have to eat lunch, they're going to have to buy gas, they're going to have places to live. So we're working very hard on all of that through various things. You know, we're not just building industrial parks. You know, we're looking at the total picture, we're looking at housing, looking at what we can do. We're trying to make some decisions this week, if I can get some of the other council members to go along with us on some ways to try to help fund our school districts and the smaller of the school districts in the county, who also see growth from these projects, but yet don't get the tax implications of them. So we're working on that right now through county council. But in the end, I think we're doing everything that we can possibly do to advance Florence County by looking at economic development, looking at our public safety, making sure it's properly funded and equipped and staffed, and also making sure that everyone in Florence County has adequate recreation areas, because we can't just work all the time. We got to make sure that we're healthy and we're out doing things. Again, appreciate you all coming out tonight, and we'll turn it over to our Representative Kirby, I think, who's up next.
Good evening, everyone. I don't have my slideshow or my notes, but I'm just going to try to cuff it a little bit for you and just tell the truth. How about that? South Carolina is one of the fastest growing states in the United States. We've got incredible economic development going on across this state. And as Councilman Springs just told you, Florence County has benefited mightily from this, from what's going on here. And that's going to trickle down to Lake City. It's going to impact our lives here as well. I am so thankful, Jason, that the new housing project that's coming up in town, right behind Wells Fargo Bank, those type initiatives will continue to just completely move Lake City into a new dynamic. You know, it's funny. 10 years ago, when I first went up to the State House, I would have to explain to people where Lake City was. But I can tell you now, they know, because we are on the map in so many ways. To see what has happened with art fields and what has happened with recreation and everything that's going on here. This facility we're sitting in, I would venture to say that there are not many people in the State House of Representatives that can host a meeting in a facility as nice as this facility. And Jeanette, the work y'all do here at the Continuum is just absolutely, the whole state of South Carolina has taken note. The Continuum is funded by the state of South Carolina in a special line item that we have worked to create, and it will continue. And it's just a testament to the good work and leadership, Jeanette, that you provided here, and of course the Moore Foundation. You can't say enough about what they've done for this area. When we ride up and down Main Street, there is not a small town in the state of South Carolina, much less I'd say the Southeast, that wouldn't pay to trade places with us. We have to understand just how blessed we are. Sometimes it's good just to sit back and say, thank you, God, for all the many, many things you've blessed us with, because we are absolutely a blessed community here. I'll tell you a little bit about some things that I've been working on in the state outside of this area. My district, my House district runs from Lake City down to Cordsville in Berkeley County. It's about 80 miles when I leave my house and go to the south end of my district. It's mainly rural, and it's mainly poor in a lot of respects. Low, you know, our wage levels are low. Our economy is rural. Agriculture's taken a lot of hits recently, but it's the most beautiful place and places in the state of South Carolina, and the most beautiful people, hardworking people, just like just like we all are, and we all grew up with. They just are trying to find their way in this new high-tech economy, this new high-tech world we're living in. And we're doing everything we can on the state level to provide avenues for success. One of the things that, of course, is top of that list is education, Laura. And the investment that we're seeing now in STEAM technology, the STEAM academies that you've seen pop up everywhere, and I hope Laura will take a chance sometime before we get out of here tonight to tell all of us about some of the great things that she's doing here in Florence 3. But technology is the new workforce. And Jeanette, I know that we're working really hard right now on mechatronics to provide those programs here, which will in turn feed the job markets like AESC. That is going to be our future. That's our kids' future. And we've got to do everything we can, and I'm talking about on the state level, to be sure that we have the adequate resources to educate our youth where they can be successful participants in this new job market, because it's different. It's different. The requirements are different. The actual positions themselves are just so vastly different from when a lot of us grew up, TJ. It's a lot different now, brother. It's a lot different now. But I am honored to represent Lake City. I love this town, I love this area, and I love the people. And y'all have given me the opportunity to do what I do at the State House. I'm going into my 11th year. And it's just been an incredible learning experience, and it's been an incredible honor for me to represent you and represent the state of South Carolina in the House of Representatives. I'll say that one of the things that I think that really we all need to be mindful of as well is that we are now living in this technology economy we mentioned earlier, but more importantly, we find ourselves sometimes just like cut off from each other. Because if you look around, everybody's on a phone. The kids are on phones, the parents are on phones, and we kind of lose sight of how important we are to each other. And I'd just like to, I guess, just reiterate and say what is obvious. We, our community, is what matters. We're important to each other. How we help each other, how we respond to each other, how we support each other is the most primary thing that we can do. The work that I'm personally involved in at the State House right now has to do with energy production, insurance premium rate increases that have just gone completely out of the ballpark. Speaker of the House appointed me, along with 2 other members, to study the state insurance industry and make recommendations when we go back in January. It's been like drinking from a fire hose in a lot of ways, because we've got, for instance, pub owners. That's just probably one of the most dynamic examples. These small bars that you see around, the insurance rates went from $3,000 basically a year to over $25,000. Think about that. A rate increase like that in a period of 1 year, just out of the blue. And the net effect is your VFWs and some of your community center places that have bars or whatnot, they're not going to be able to maintain. They can't stay open. They can't sell enough inside of their community centers to pay the insurance, much less the electric and the overhead. So it's a major problem. We've seen, I don't know if any of y'all recently gotten a homeowner's insurance bill, but you will note that it's probably gone up about 30%. And guess what? It's probably going to go up another 30%. It's just, it's a critical situation in the state of South Carolina. And it's impacting the entire state. So keep your eyes open for that. There will be some recommendations you'll see that will be made this year, and I hope that we will have the wherewithal in the state legislature to make some policy changes that will make a difference. The other thing I wanted to talk briefly about is energy, something we all take for granted. South Carolina, because of all the new industrial growth, Jason, like AESC, and like Google, who's putting these big new data centers just south of us, the energy load that they require is historically just not even understandable. Some of these data centers can utilize as much power as a small power generating station can generate. We are phasing out of coal production for obvious reasons. It's not economic, and it's not good for the environment. But what we've got to do now is transition to production of energy. We've got to have baseload production. So solar's taken, so you've seen solar panels coming up everywhere. That's taken, the increase in solar power generation has been great, but it doesn't serve the need of baseload energy production. So, Elliot, I know that you're very well aware with what I'm talking about. Elliot Askins works with Santee Electric Co-op. There, we are now, hopefully, when we get back, we will formalize a report back to the legislature on recommendations for increases in baseload generation. There is the first item of that will be authorizing the construction of a gas-fired plant, generation plant in Kennedy's, which is down on the southern end of the state. But we've got to continue that. That can't be a one and done, because that's not going to answer the question. One of the technologies that we're most interested in that is not quite ready for prime time is called small modular reactors. And you'll be hearing more about this as time goes on. But these are basically small nuclear powered generation stations, similar to what we've had forever in nuclear submarines. We've had those around since the 50s, where the submarines are powered by a small reactor, nuclear reactor. These modular reactors can create as much energy as what would be considered a standard generation station. But guess what? They fit on a piece of land the size of a football field. So it's really exciting technology. We do think that it's probably 5 to 7 years out from prime time, but every one of the electric cooperatives and Duke and Santee Cooper are all looking toward that as a longer-term solution. So anyway, those are a few things we're working on that I've been working on personally at the State House. Obviously, I'm here to support Lake City in any way I can at the state, and Florence County any way I can at the state, and the Sheriff's Department any way I can at the state. And that's what we'll continue to do. I just appreciate each one of you taking the time to come out. Cynthia, I didn't see you back there. Cynthia Millette does an incredible job with all, yeah. It's just amazing to see what she actually does do. Just don't give her a microphone. She's got us on speed dial, and that's the way it should be. And Bertha, thank you for being here, taking time to be here. Bertha Scott just ran one of the smoothest county elections, I think, that I remember. And kudos to you for all the work you do for all of us at the Florence County Election Commission. So I'll look forward to maybe having some questions a little bit later, but I wanted to introduce the best sheriff, the most incredible sheriff in the state of South Carolina, and we got him right here in Florence County, Sheriff T.J. Joye.
Been on the phone with me earlier. There are a few people who don't agree with that, but starting off when we first took office, the then and the now of it all. When I took office, we had 37 openings. Now we have 8. We had 45 detention officers. We did not have it. 45 openings. Now we got 12. Thanks to my council, and I do appreciate this, I'm telling you, where we are now is really great to have this salary, and we are attracting and retaining more people, especially attracting them with the money. We're at 54,388, and the detention centers are at 49,000. We implemented a recruiting bonus for them. Give them, what was it, Tommy, $1,000, $1,200, something of that nature, and that helped tremendously. Just to give you a brief, a lot of people see me and say, well, this county's 804 square miles. And Jason laughed at me the last conversation we had, and I give people my cell number. And I know there's several, Reverend and Frank and Ms. Cobb, they call me, and I'm going to answer. This is a large county. And with that, just remember, I'm coming back, we're going to need more deputies. Averaging 230 to 300 calls a day on some days, just like today. Today was a Monday. We had a stabbing and a shooting. And used to, when I was a deputy, it was Friday and Saturday and Sunday night they showed the butt. Everybody showed the butt now. They go Monday to Monday, all the time. One of the things I know you've heard me speak on, and Frank's on my board, it is the culture. We changed the culture. Do the right thing. That's all I care about. Do the right thing, which a lot of them have to do the right thing now because we're going to inspect what we expect. We have body-worn cameras. We didn't have that. Thanks to Senator Letterman and the rest of the state officials. It was a $1.5 million journey to get those body cameras, and we didn't have body cameras. I think the law, Roger, correct me, it was about 6-7 years ago, everybody was supposed to get them. We didn't have body cameras. And Senator Letterman called me one day. He said, he said, you got a minute, I want to sit and talk with you. He said, what is the biggest thing? I said, the biggest thing to me is being transparent with you. I'm not going to lie to you. We're human too, but when we mess up, I'm not going to cover it up. We're going to stand up and do the right thing. But with that being said, we got the body-worn cameras. We were not, the thing that floored me the most, Chief Keel and I, the sled chief, we were sitting together at the sheriff's conference. He said, I know you're going to be very upset with this next thing. He said, y'all not accredited. I said, what are you talking about? We have a large sheriff's office, and we were not accredited, state or federal. We're achieving that goal now. We're achieving both of those. And it's been a long, I'm telling you, my command staff and those two over there catch it every day and night. But it's our job to answer the call for the public, regardless what time it is or when it is. One thing that I'm very keen on, and a lot of you in this room know me, I love spit shine, and we didn't even have uniforms properly. We had T-shirts, black T-shirts with green pants. We got uniforms. We got the body cameras. I don't know if you heard about the shooting in Johnsonville, killed a teenager there. One of my deputies got him right back here behind the police department. You know how we called him? He gave us his name and date of birth, wasn't right, lied to us. We had the fingerprint scanners. We have 8 fingerprint scanners. We scan it, it gives the ID. If you're in the NCIC, it's going to let us know. It's going to indicate that you're wanted. We changed a little bit. Chief Sullivan had a lot to do with this, with the leasing of the vehicles to help us with our expense. We lease the vehicles, especially with the narcotics. And I think now the whole fleet is leased at this time. I know Jason spoke on the Bearcat, and I went to him. We had a case over, it was January the 7th of 2021. We had a case where a subject went to the girl's house, shot and killed her in front of her daddy, and left, and we found him in Cusacks. Well, I didn't realize that all our tactical stuff was worn out. They didn't have any. So all my deputies showed up to the front of the house, and I got out, and they were in Ford 150s. And I said, guys, where are the, well, it's not working, Sheriff. So I did an inventory, and then I went before council and asked, and the chairman, and they got us a Bearcat, and we get another one as well, but this is a big county. We've had instances where the city of Florence has got something asking for us, and also down here, or either Coward, the shooting we had in Coward. So, and I'll say this, I wasn't very keen on our aviation, but I'm telling you, they rock. I'd have never thought I'd have kept those helicopters. We got two now, and I'm going to be right honest with you. I'm trying to get another one because we had a vulnerable adult that drove away, and she was on the phone. And this lady, correct me if I'm wrong, she drove almost to the river down there. And she said, oh, I'm at a pond. Y'all can't. Well, our chopper found her. We had to wait the night, and we found her. Had another case. We've had several murder suspects that we found, the vehicles and the stuff that they were involved with. They do a great job. I'm not going to get up in it. I'll tell you that now. I ain't getting in the helicopter. I will not get in the helicopter. They try to get me in that. We've done a lot of cosmetic stuff to that office. It looked really bad. We redid the criminal investigation room and the records room. We switched our tasers from the 7 to the 10. I think we were one of the first to go to that in this state. It's a more reliable, non-lethal way that you can pop them and they're acting up and you don't have to fight them. It's a good tool. I think it is. I know the superintendent knows this. We purchased the 25 of the Ruger 9mm carbine rifles for the school resource officers and for the courtroom. It's a compact rifle. Somebody starts shooting, and I know she sees me a lot. I worry a lot about these schools with this type of stuff. I'm trying to get full there as well, and I'm trying to work it out so we can have one in every school. I hope and pray to the good Lord we can. The x-ray units for the narcs, the x-rays, see if you got dope hid somewhere in your body, and most of y'all know where that's going to be, so I don't have to go in detail about that. But we upgraded the law enforcement center. We had to upgrade the telephone system, law enforcement telephone system. So it's been a busy 3.5 months. Start my next term January the 5th, and I thank you for trusting me. But the only thing I can tell you, if you do not have my cell number to call me when you have a problem with the sheriff's office, I will give you my number. And I promise you, Just can tell you, we talk a good bit at night or something goes on out at the club or wherever it might be. And Miss Crosby, she'll tell you, I answered the phone at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. She's mad about something, can't get somebody to call her back. But I do. But Chief Sullivan got him to redo the front of the law enforcement center. It was not bulletproof. We have a lot of crazy people that go out there, and I'm well loved by some. And we make sure that we have that fixed for the front there, the reception. We got a polygraph examiner now. Everybody that goes through that puts in with us, they go through a tedious process with the because we first started, fell a little short there with the background on some things we should have caught, but we didn't. What we have now, and it's thorough background. A lot of people don't want to go through the whole process because I'm already class 1. I don't know what you did if you were working in King Street, wherever. I'm just using that for example. But if you're going to work here, you're going to be transparent. You're going to take a polygraph. And we have redone the range, the firing range, the training facility and stuff. So we've done a lot of work to make it better. But the most important thing to me, we got more boots on the ground now. And these guys are running from call to call and more. And we need 15 to 20. Where we are now, when I took office, I want to say there was 5 on a shift. And now we got 12, 11, and 12. Some's got 10 because some of them had to go because they didn't do the right thing. But we're rebuilding now. We got 4 in the academy now, getting ready to graduate in December. And we got 2 in the training slots now, fixing to go through our training. But I just want to say, I can't control everything the men and women in this office do. But I can address it when they do mess up and when we fess up. I hold them accountable, and they know that. I'm probably one of the most, and those 2 over there tell you I'm very hands-on with everything, and I'm very wired. and I'm very, very hot-tempered when people don't do the right thing. And Frank's clapping because he's seen me in those boards. But it's a responsibility, but it is my responsibility that I work for you. You know, I've heard sheriffs all over the county, I'm so-and-so sheriff, I can do what I want to. It doesn't work that way with me. You may not like my answer, but if you call me and you need help with something, I'm going to help you. So the most important thing is I'm going to talk to you instead of raising Cain. Talk to me. I'm the one. I'll take the blow. We'll get it right. If we can't get it right, I'll get gone. And I'll get them gone. Bottom line. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. My chief, I'm Patrick Miles.
Thank you, Sheriff. Sitting on this panel up here, I was just thinking I'm the only one that's sitting at that table that's not elected. But I'll be quick. I just want to give you some stats for the Lake City Police Department over the last year. This time last year, we were between 12 and 14 officers short. Now we are 4 short, and when I say 4 short, what I mean is not 4 short of officers on the road. We've got Class 3 advanced officers as well that work within the police department. We're 1 short there, so one of those individuals will transfer over into the new code enforcement and animal control position that we've started this year. So she will transfer over into that, and that will create an opening. We just filled a patrol lieutenant opening today. Our command staff is full now after today. Our investigations division is full. That's been full for a while now. So we have no shortages there. We're running about 3 to 4 officers per shift, and that's 24/7. We've created a community response team. What that team, their goal is to, if we receive a complaint within a community, they don't answer the calls for service. It's designed to, if I get a complaint within a community, that team, which consists of a K-9 officer, which is also something new we've started, a K-9 program. Well, it's not new, but we've put a breath of fresh air into it. So those 4 officers and that K-9 go into that community, and they don't leave until the problem leaves. If the problem has to leave with them, they'll take it with them and take them down to see the sheriff. That's where they go. But the design of that team, it was created for that specific purpose. So you could still have the patrol officers out answering the calls, and that community response team, they can handle specific issues at specific times in specific places. They don't have to worry about, well, I got to go on this call, so I'm going to have to leave from watching this individual, what they're doing. That's not going to be an issue for them. And we look to be completely fully staffed by the end of the year. I'm going to stick to that promise that I made back in March, is to be fully staffed by January 1, and I believe we'll get there at the rate we're going. We're 40 officers total, that's including my position, and 1 uncertified position for the custodial staff. Other than that, we've been moving along. I think we've made great strides. Our call volume is somewhere between 1,500 and 1,800 calls a month. We're looking at averaging out about 19 to 20,000 calls this year altogether. And that's including when I say calls for service, that's including the proactive stuff, where the officer goes out. They're not waiting on a 911 call. They're going out being proactive and actually looking for the criminal activity before they get the call. That's what it's all about in my mind, is being proactive and trying to prevent something before it happens. And that's preventing shootings, preventing, fatal traffic collisions, which we've had a couple of this year. So prevent that stuff. If we can prevent it, then that goes a long way towards our call volume and how we all, think about the police department, how we lay down and go to bed and sleep at night. It's hard to lay down and go to bed and sleep if you're worried about your house getting shot up. But we get a lot of complaints. Well, the officers are out, they're stopping people for tag lights, they're stopping people for loud music. They're doing that for a reason. They're doing that, and they're in those specific areas because of either what's transpired in the past or what we believe is about to transpire again. And if we can stop it with a tag light violation, then that's what we're going to do. I would rather stop it with a tag light violation or a loud music violation or something small
than to wait on the shooting call to happen. So if we've got a group of people gathered up and we know we've had a fight and we know we monitor social media, so if we know something's about to go down, we're going to go bust that group of people up. That's not us being tailholes, that's just us, that's doing our job. We go and we disperse that group of people, and if we have to use a small crime like a tag light or a loud music violation or disorderly conduct or breach of peace, then that's what we'll use. We'll use that in a heartbeat to stop a major crime from happening. Because if we're not being proactive, what are we doing? We're here for 12 hours drawing a paycheck, doing nothing, sitting here waiting on 911 calls. I can't stand that. I've never liked that. I came from EMS, and that's one of the reasons I left EMS. EMS is 100% reactive. You're at the station until you get a 911 call. Now, you may be doing training or something like that, but you have no way to be proactive working EMS. Law enforcement is one of the best jobs that you can be proactive at. You can be as busy as you want to be, as long as you're ticking those marks to stop something major from happening. If it's working traffic, it's out being effective working traffic before you get that fatal head-on collision. Or before if you come through Lake City at a high rate of speed, we're going to stop you. If we see you, we're going to stop you, and you're going to get the ticket 9 times out of 10. And it's just, that's part of the job, and people beat us up for that quite regularly, but we're used to it by now. We all have thick skin. But a little bit on the stats, though, is around 19,000 calls, 19,500 calls per year. That's a significant amount of calls per year for a town with a population this size. And we're going to respond to each and every one of them, and we do respond to each and every one of them. And we try to put our best foot forward when making the calls that we make, whether it's somebody goes to jail or somebody doesn't go to jail. Every call we go to, they do an incident report on. Every incident report gets reviewed. It gets reviewed by a shift sergeant. When it's entered, that sergeant reviews it, and then around Monday morning, at least on Mondays, that's reviewed by the captain and the major, and we have our meetings on Monday afternoon, sometimes right around after lunch. If there's anything of significance that's brought to my attention, and it's handled at that point in time. And we work well with the sheriff's office, and I thank Sheriff Joye for everything that he's done for us and continues to do. And we're looking forward to 2025 and what we have in store coming up for 2025. Our next big thing is going to be the flock camera system. Sheriff, I believe you guys have gotten involved with that. I think that's a fantastic thing. However, there's a price tag that comes along with that. So I'm going to have to get with the mayor and city council and the city administrator, who have supported us 110%. So I'll be getting with them in the near future about that, because that's a high initial price tag, and then it's a yearly price tag or every 2-year price tag after that. But it's a phenomenal tool. It allows us to do a lot of things, and those LPR cameras, we're not going to monitor them for expired registration plates or speeders or anything. That's not what that's for. That's not our intent for that. Our intent is to count the number of cars that's in the city at any given time, and if we have a crime in a certain area, to go back and see where those cars were. That's what it's for. And in addition to that, to the LPR cameras, I'm trying to get a quote together to where we will have a live feed camera at every intersection on 52 with a red light. Because traffic collisions is another thing that kicks us in the butt every day, especially during the daytime. You have somebody run a red light, we get there, obviously the light's probably changed a couple of times by the time we get there. We rely on the damage at hand. We investigate it and see what's most probable, what probably happened, and then we rely on what the witnesses tell us. But nowadays, nobody wants to be a witness, so we have to go based off of what we see. And a lot of times the cars have already been moved by the time we get there, so that it just makes our job that much more difficult. But a camera, somebody told me, and I'm going to use their analogy, a camera is a police officer that never sleeps, it doesn't take lunch breaks, and it can't lie to you. All you got to do is feed it with electricity, and that's it, and review what it sees. It's there 24/7. So the flock camera system is going to be a big ask that we're going to be asking for coming up, and I think it's fantastic. In addition to that, and I know the city administrator back there, he's probably not going to want to hear this, But my next gas is going to be not for a helicopter, but it's going to be for a thermal drone to assist with the canine program that we have. Our canine is a tracking dog, so he can track whether it's suspects or whether it's a missing juvenile or a person with Alzheimer's or what have you. That dog has the ability to track that in an urban environment as well as a woodland environment. In addition to narcotics detection, that dog is trained in that as well in 5 different odors. To assist that program, I will be asking for a thermal drone, and those have a price tag as well, but typically it's a one-time price tag. But that's something to look forward to for 2025 that we're doing. And not only that, it helps the officers' morale, because there's nothing that'll kind of get you down in the dumps and make you not want to come to work if you can't do your job the right way and if you don't have the tools to do it the right way. That's when officers start looking, well, maybe I need to go down and see the sheriff and go to work with him, because he's got all these tools and he's got all this stuff that he's getting. You know, we're a smaller agency and we're doing the best we can with retaining the people that we have. We just have to find innovative ways to do it. And I think those two things, that flock camera system, along with the live view cameras, as well as that thermal drone that can assist in a number of operations, whether it be an event that we're having or an actual live call. So that's something that can be of great assistance to us. And I'll keep it at that because I know we got a Q&A session after this, but. I'm sorry? You're welcome.
I didn't bring my glasses, so I didn't expect to speak, but I'm going to try to read what I have on here. So again, thank you for this opportunity to Chief Miles, Chief TJ Joye, Representative Kirby, Councilman Springs, and our mayor. Thank you all for this opportunity just to share and just keeping us informed in the community. One of our goals, we have 6 operational goals in Florence 3 that aligns with our mission, which is to ensure our students are college or career ready. And goal 5 deals with partnerships and our community partnerships and just working together as one. So in line with what's happening tonight, I just want to say that we appreciate the partnerships. I have all of them on the speed dial. They all hear from me. So, and I appreciate the support, because when we work together as one, with one goal in mind, which is to improve our community, those areas that were up here, the partnerships, the economic development, all of that goes back to education. And if we do not have a good, productive, quality education system, then everything that we're doing is going to not improve. We're not going to see those outcomes that we want to see. But the more we do to improve education and support education, then we're going to see improvements in economic development. We're going to see improvement in safety. Because if you go, one year I actually went to the courtroom and I spent a day there. But what I noticed was most of the folks that went through before the judge were folks who dropped out of school. So that's just a reminder of the role and the importance of education and making sure that we educate every student. I just want to point out some of the initiatives that we have going on, which again aligns with safety. One of the most important things we have social-emotional counselors in each of our schools, where they are working with students with their social and emotional needs. We partner with the PD Mental Health as well as Circle Park to just make sure that we're addressing those needs. If we're going to improve student achievement, we have to make sure that we're addressing the entire child. And in order for us to help students focus on education, then we got to address those other issues that some of them have. And some of our students, unfortunately, have gone through molestation, They have parents that's incarcerated. We recently had a student who lost a parent 2 years ago, just lost another parent last week. These are things that our youth are facing, but sometimes in our arena, we don't realize what's happening with our youth. So until we can start to work together as a full community, start to have more forums like this so that we can listen to each other and really know what's happening with our students so that we get to the root causes of it, then we'll start to see the impact and the outcome. So just a couple of things I want to mention, new initiatives. We recently opened a career lab at Ronald E. McNair. I encourage you to come by to see it. You'll see students participating in hands-on career explorations. And our goal is to then attach or connect them with a real-life person or job so that they can get those experiences. It's another way of exposing students to careers before they get to the high school, because our goal is for our students to graduate with certifications. We're so grateful for the Continuum and working with Jeanette. We actually have students every year leaving with welding certifications, HVAC certifications, CNA certifications. We have a lot of great things happening in Florence 3, and you really just need to come and just see the kids in action, because we have a lot of great kids. I often tell principals, there's that 80-20 rule that 80% of your students do the right thing, but that 20% will take 80% of your time if you allow them to do that. It's the same thing in your city. 80% of your citizens are great citizens, but it's that 20% sometimes that takes 80% of your time. They say if you have a party, 20% of your folks will eat 80% of the food. So that's just reality. So, but we have great kids, and that 80%, we're trying to make sure we focus on them, capitalize on them, develop those gifts so that they can go out and then make a difference as well. Also on Friday, we just started our first Veterans Induction Program where we have a Veterans Hall of Fame. And we inducted 16 veterans that actually graduated from this area, from the Florence County area, and the oldest was 102 years old. So that was amazing. That was amazing. And one final thing I'm going to end on, which also I believe is going to impact safety. We recently wrote a grant and received a $3 million mental health grant that will help us continue to focus on social-emotional services as well as mental health services. And it's a 5-year grant where we get, the first year is like $700,000, $6,000, and then the other 4 years, a little over $600,000. So we're going to use those funds to just build and create capacity in that area so that we can better meet the needs of our students. But thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for your partnership.
Laura, thank you. Thank you for taking time to come speak to us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Senator Saab had plans to be here tonight. He was called to Columbia today. We had JMSC, which is our Judicial Merit Selection Committee. Senator Saab is serving on that committee. This is a small group of legislators who actually select who our judicial candidates are for the state of South Carolina. So it's a very big honor that he's doing that, but it's also a lot of work. They're going to be for the next about 3 weeks between now and our legislative session screening multiple judicial candidates for judicial seats around the state. So wanted to mention that. He sends his best regards. We had originally talked about trying to keep this to about an hour, but we really want to take some questions. If there are any people here, any of our citizens that have any comments, questions, or otherwise, we've got Tracy, I think, Donna Donna back there has got a mic, and we would encourage anyone to speak. You know what they say, speak your piece. Now's the time, okay? So just please feel free. If you have any questions or ideas or comments, we'd sure like to hear them. So thank you.
I just came to the meeting. I'm concerned about two things. I got a bad odor, 541 Most Street, with the dogs, my neighbor dogs, 5 dogs in that backyard. Where the city, I don't think you're supposed to have but 2. Okay, it's 5 on the back. Outside of what's on the front. And when anybody come to my house, up on the carport shade, you can smell that odor. I want to know, what can I do? I mentioned in the city meeting. I mean, it's embarrassing when you got company.
Call me and I'll get our animal control to look at it. Y'all don't.
I really appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah, we can get animal control to look at it. Are they mean dogs? Are they aggressive dogs? Or are they just?
It is mean dog if they get out.
Don't let them out.
He got them in a gate, but it's right at my back door, and it's right up under the carport shade. You don't have to get out your car and come in my yard and wind down your glass.
What kind of dogs are they?
There's the, well, they said it was the top line. There's the big face.
Have you talked to the owner of the dogs?
Yes, he said, his house.
He said, what? I couldn't.
My daughter talked to him last week, and he says it's his house. Well, we're family too, but he says his house. Well, I'm just gonna tell you the truth. It's family, but anybody can come to my house and smell those dogs. Now I got a dryer last week. I told Lowe's, because the odor was coming up on the carpet tree. I said, now this in my house. I said, coming from the dog. And then everybody asked me, why you ain't saying nothing to the city? I said, well, the city know. Because I mentioned it in the meeting.
Are you from over off the Constitution and Liberty Street area?
Right in front of the ex-mayor, Loviance.
You're on my list. From when she starts, you're one of the
Well,
first
you can come
ones she's
anytime.
gonna contact.
He took care of it. Look at that.
You come in, you can come in, and one more thing, Moore Street. We got so many potholes. I mean, they don't potholes, but you got them patched. That street need to be fixed up. We're going down. Houses need to be.
I'll have to get with DOT on that.
Okay.
I'll talk to the commissioner on that.
I appreciate it.
Roger, you can help me too with that. That's state road.
I don't have it too concerned. All right, thank you.
Yeah, I don't think I did mine, but the intersections at 52 at Morris Street and Thomas Street, I don't know how many accidents are there, but I sit there crossing 52, the light turns green and I see cars just coming through. I don't know if there's anything that works like a strobe light, or I think people just can't, on 52 they can't see those lights for some reason, the red lights. Well, Thomas and Morris are the two I'm mostly on. There might be other intersections too, but you get on that 4-lane highway going through town, and those lights, especially during the daytime, they kind of blend into the sky or whatever.
I don't think it's got to do with the daytime. I think a blue light would fix a lot of it. I know early in the mornings I see it. You better not go when that light turns green if you're coming on Thomas. I can tell you that.
Yeah, you
I've
better
taught both my
stop.
kids that.
You better stop and let the cars come through, because they coming.
As well. So what Councilman Springs said is a blue light's gonna fix a lot of that, and he's exactly right about that. But we'll look at the traffic lights just to be sure. Yeah, like a police car behind them. But we'll definitely look at the lights just to make sure there's not a brighter light that needs to be put in that specific area because of how the sun falls at a given time or something like that. I don't know, the last time I seen one was it was at a four-way intersection where stop signs used to be, but then they put a light there. It's just, it's an attention getter.
And that might be in the assessment of the road safety, the Highway 52 road safety that they're doing now. I have to look back and see if that's current. I'm sorry.
Sometimes too, I've seen, the actual, device is outlined thicker to make it stand out. I think it's busy. That area, if you just look visually, it's just a very busy, there's a lot going on. And so I think the lights get lost. I don't know anything about it.
They can definitely talk with DOT to see if that's in the assessment for the upgrade of the 52 corridor, because they're looking at that whole entire corridor to make it more safe.
I've got a list of things to get with DOT about, and I can definitely put that on the list. One of them is having speed reduced at the school zone at the high school. The speed on Matthews Road is not reduced in the school zone right there where all the kids are crossing the street. And
So
it's,
I actually spoke with the school, sort of DOT about that, and they do it, they just want somebody to pay for the signs. I hope Casey Miles, what's her name?
Casey Fagan?
Casey Fagan, she helped with that, but yeah, it's a matter of getting the funding to do it.
Okay, well, we can definitely do
I
that.
think the DOT doesn't want to pay for it.
Okay. But having a sign put up and an actual painted crosswalk, because that's a big issue of kids, just crossing the road there.
That's the same at Main Street, on Main Street as well, that we're looking to. And yes, and Morris and Carver's. Okay.
Piggyback on Carver, Roger, we have a lot of foot traffic there with school. We need sidewalks and those ditches covered. And it seems to be getting worse now. And with those houses at the end of the street, the new homes, would love to see ASAP what can be done to correct that. And I'm depending on you to do it. I know you get it done.
If I could just add to that with the Safe Streets for All grant that we just received, that would definitely be added into the comprehensive safety plan that we put in place for sidewalks will be one part of that.
The ditches covered too? Because we have several ditches all along there.
Yeah, again, thanks for that. You and I have talked about that in the past. The reality of it is we've got, there are several pots of money that the state DOT has to work from. They're fairly limited, but one of them is safety oriented, and there's some grant funds available as well. My recommendation to you as a city council member would be for the city to make a request to the DOT for a safety study to be done, because that would be within the city's jurisdiction to do that. And I would certainly encourage you to do that in your position as council member to kind of spearhead that. And then let's see what pots of money can be utilized to try to accomplish that. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, there's a lot of traffic and there's a lot of foot traffic there. It is, without a sidewalk, it is very dangerous for our students. I get that. Good. That's fine. You just let me know. Thank you. Absolutely.
Good evening. My name is Mark Fountain. I'm the director of Lake City Housing Authority. We also are having problems with our streets that are actually city streets inside the neighborhoods. We've gone through great strides to put cameras and make our neighborhoods safer and refurbishing those neighborhoods. But our problems are where the streets are actually concrete streets and they're not paved streets, and they're all cracking up, and we're having individuals actually stepping in holes, getting in their cars, but the streets are city streets. So if you could give me some guidance on that to help us maybe address that. We've got concrete streets all throughout the neighborhoods that we would like to certainly see something get done with those. If someone could address my question, please.
Thank you, Mr. Fountain. Just like I stated before with the Safe Streets for All grant that we just received, we're actually going to we're in the early stages of trying to get this comprehensive safety plan together. And of course, we're not going to do it alone because we need people like you and the community who is going through and deal with those certain things. So we're going to have a public forum. We're going to speak with all the council members as well to get that input so we can put in this comprehensive safety plan, so we can get every inch covered, so we can make sure that when we go back to get the funding for the implementation of this grant, that all of that would be covered. So of course it's going to take some time, but of course you have to start somewhere. Okay. And we can definitely talk more as well. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you so much. I know it's running late. It's after 7. It's been a Monday, I think, for everyone. I do thank everyone for being here tonight. We have such a diverse group here. We have a diverse panel here. I thank everybody here tonight for putting in your input and giving your updates. There is so much information that was shared tonight, and I know there's probably other questions that you want to ask. Please contact us. We said up here, we stated that you have our phone numbers, you have our email addresses. You can contact us at any time. You know where our offices are. This was really good tonight because I know everybody can't make it to a council meeting, a city council meeting, a county council meeting. You know, so this is really good input for you all tonight, and we want to continue to do it. We want to continue to be transparent. We want to continue to offer you the opportunity to come and speak with us because we work for you. Just like Sheriff Joye always says, we work for you, and we want to hear from you. You are our eyes and ears in the community, and we represent you to the fullest. So I really thank everyone in your respective places for being here tonight. If you have any other issues or concerns, we would definitely get in touch with you.
Yeah, I do appreciate y'all coming again tonight. And as I think, one of the things I think that we're very, very fortunate is that we're able to all work together. You hear so much about other towns and counties and their legislators not getting along. You got cases in the upstate where legislators are suing their county councils. It's crazy stuff goes on. We don't have that going on around here. We all work together. I think I speak for all of us that we're all grateful for the support that you give us, because I recognize that I couldn't do what I do, which I love doing. I couldn't do it without your support. You've got to vote for us. You've got to allow us to do what we do. It's not a right. It's a privilege to hold this seat to represent all of you, and I'm thankful for that. I greatly enjoy doing it. It can be a headache at sometimes, but it's a good headache. It gives us a chance that we can reach out and try to make lives better for everybody. When I first ran for county council, I kept telling everybody that my goal was I was tired of seeing kids grow up, get out of high school, and we never see them again. You know, I want my kids, when they get out of school, I want them to come back home. Not my house. I want to come back to Lake City. And I'm getting to that age now. I've got one in the college now, and I'm ready for him I'm hoping he'll come back to this area. And we're seeing that throughout our community. We're starting to see a lot of our younger people come back to Lake City, come back to our area, and be a part of our community. And we've got to get all of them engaged. And just like these events like this, they've got to know what's going on as well. But I'm excited to see that, and I'm going to continue doing what I've been doing. If there's anything that I need to be doing differently, please let me know. And again, like they said, you can call me. Call the sheriff, get my number if you need it. If everybody's got it. Now, my number is 598-0325. If you don't have it, you can look it up on the county's website. I think I'm probably the only council member that does have his cell phone number on there, by the way. But feel free to call me anytime. If you don't get me, please leave a message or please leave a text message for me. I get so many. I can show y'all my numbers I got that spams during the day. I'm tired of seeing them. If I don't have a number, a lot of times I won't answer it if I'm busy. But again, thank you all, and I'll give it to our Assistant Minority Leader of the House.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Spriggs. Hey, guys, thank y'all. Thank you for taking time. You know, you look around the room right now. You are the citizen leaders of Lake City. And it's evident that you are because you're here. and you care. And I guess the only message I want to leave you with is this. If we can maintain some unity of vision where we want to go and commitment to get there, there is absolutely nothing we can't do in the city of Lake City, in this community. We are so blessed. We are so blessed to have the investments of the Moore Foundation. We're so blessed to have all of the things that have happened here that have been so beneficial for each one of us, for our children. Laura, for the great job you're doing, for the great job our teachers and staff are doing in District 3 to bring our children to this next level. And Jeanette, hats off to what y'all are doing here at the Continuum. This is the gem of the state of South Carolina. The Continuum is the gem. And I just want to I hope that all of you understand how fortunate we are to have a facility like this in Lake City, South Carolina, because it doesn't exist in other places. It doesn't exist in other places. And it's all because we need to be appreciative and thankful and utilize these resources that we have. Look out for each other. Let's keep the fight going, and let's continue to make progress. And just thank each of y'all for being here. Ralph, thank you. You've been a long-time leader in this community. Frank, thank you for what all you're doing, buddy, with the CTC and with the Sheriff's Department and all the things you do in the community. All of you are community leaders, and thank you all for being here.
Frank, Rev, I want you to do me one favor. I want you to tell everybody in here about my Thanksgiving luncheon. And it's coming up the 27th, and everyone is invited. You're welcome. It's 11 o'clock to 1 or 2, probably 2 before everybody gets out of there. But please come and join us, and I thank you for your support. How many of you don't have my cell number? I ain't too bad out the whole room then. I feel good. Raise your hand. Muffy, you got my number. You ain't getting it again.
I did. If she'd got here on time, she'd have heard me say that earlier. You talking about the expansion at the senior center? I tell you, Cynthia's got the distinction of being the one, not only does she get to spend time with these seniors, but she also worked with them when they were playing recreation ball at Lions Park when they were little. She's done a wonderful job for them. When y'all leave here, avoid Morris and 52. They've got an accident and the road shut down, too.
Going to be backed up there for a little bit. And that is exactly where we were just talking about. So thank everybody for coming. And again, if you've got any questions for me, I'm at the police department in Lake City Monday through Friday.
God bless you guys.